Teddy, it's my daughter's cat that she left at my house 10 years ago.
Shabbat Shalom, Effie. Hi.
Shalom.
Tufan, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Oh,
Shalom.
you mean he's big enough to sit in a chair by himself now? God, okay. I'm seeing right behind your left shoulder. Oh, there's more. Okay, now there are two. Okay, Diane, Shabbat Shalom. Doris, Shabbat Shalom. Risa, Shabbat Shalom. Who were you listening to this morning, Risa? I've never had a chance that you were listening to somebody. No? You're not going to tell me. Okay, but you're muted, which is lovely.
I was listening to your Torah gem. I hadn't heard it yet.
Okay, how was it?
Back to the ladder.
I'm sorry, Larry, Shabbat Shalom. Brad, Shabbat Shalom. Maya, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, just you, eh?
Where's
Shabbat,
Bonker?
Shabbat Shalom.
Where's Bonker?
Bonkers. You have Bonkers
Let
there?
us see Bonkers.
I'll get him. Okay.
Okay. Shabbat, I have Owner. That's a funny name. That should. Okay, you're muted. You're muted. So I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry about that. Yeah, for some reason the name fell off of my camera and I haven't figured out how to get it back on, but I'm Owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zach, Shabbat Shalom. Eric from Florida. Shabbat Shalom. Joy. Hi, Shabbat Shalom, Joy. Karen, Shabbat Shalom. Merle, Shabbat Shalom. These things keep moving on me. Barbara, Shabbat Shalom. Lynn, I just heard last night that you were sick. Can you unmute? How are you feeling now?
I'm good. We got COVID on Thanksgiving Day, both of us. So we missed Thanksgiving and we've been isolating, but we are better now.
Oh, my Maya has Bonkers.
Bonkers the blind kitty cat. Yes.
I'm sorry to hear that, Lynn. I hope you're feeling better.
I'm feeling better every day. We took Paxlovid and that really is magical.
That helped? Oh,
Yeah, it's great.
But please forgive me, Lynn. I did not know until last night that you were ill. I have this thing as a rabbi where people say, how come you didn't call me? I'll say, I didn't know. And the answer always is, everybody knew. What? Okay.
For a while there, I wasn't talking to anybody. I was.
Okay, but I want to apologize to you because I
that's
certainly would have, bothered you, whatever. But I'm so pleased you're back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Wow.
Natalie, hi, Shabbat Shalom. Marina, Shabbat Shalom. Steve, Shabbat Shalom. Donna, hi, Shabbat Shalom. Ray, oh, we got a great group here. This keeps growing and growing and growing.
Stanley,
Sorry,
Stanley.
my mic was off.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.
Stan, Maya has Bonkers in her arms.
Yeah, Bonkers we saw. Bonkers.
who's Bonkers?
Bonkers is a comfort cat who is literally totally blind.
Oh, God.
And Bonkers takes care of Maya wherever she goes.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
So that's Bonkers. Yes. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, Tamara is here. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we're going to get started. Everybody's here. Or not everybody, but a whole bunch of people are here. I also just heard last night, it's a good thing I go to services once in a while, that Jim and Janice are both ill as well with COVID. Did you hear that? Is that?
Yes. Well, Jim sent it out because he wasn't doing Saturday night, so he said he was sick. So yeah, that was I didn't know his wife was also ill.
Yeah, but guess who didn't hear about? Not that I'm complaining. So I walk into services last night, And oh, how are Jim and Janice doing? Why? How is Lynn doing? Why? And oh, everyone knows they got COVID. Okay. So I don't know whether Jim's going to do a film tonight. I just
Not
he's
tonight.
No,
Next
not
week.
tonight. No.
Oh, thank you. Thank
He's
you.
doing
for
it on
coming.
the 10th.
May they get better soon.
Okay.
December
That's
10th
it.
is the next.
December
Okay.
10th.
So I've
Did he give
now
us the
read-
movie? I don't have the movie we're supposed to do. Did anybody get it?
He
No?
No,
didn't-
we don't
he
know
didn't
yet.
decide.
Decided yet.
Okay, but what I'm going to ask is, as a community, and we are a community, please
God bless us.
let me know when somebody isn't well, okay? Because I write these really beautiful little notes, but I can't do it if I don't know. So please help me, okay? All right. Okay. Hi, Donna. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I want to report, and I'm just going to do this briefly, how Risa and I spent Thursday morning. Thursday morning, we went to the Hebrew Union College, and there we witnessed and participated in the honoring of Tamara Skanazi as she completed, or isn't, she has one more class to teach. I'm not sure what's there. Completed, is it tomorrow, 32 years? 32 years professor at the Hebrew Union College, now entering into retirement. So, yeah. Do you want to say anything else about what else? No. Okay. All right. I will say that in front of a wonderful group of people, Tamara delivered a beautiful statement, very beautiful. And because it's Hebrew in college and they require the morning service to be over in an hour, 10 minutes, they limited her, which I wanted more. But in any event, it was a beautiful morning. And when one of ours achieves stardom, that's good to know. Okay, Donna, did you put up your hand and you lowered it? Donna Nadel? Okay. Oh, okay. Tamara says thank you. Okay. Shabbat shalom. Okay. Wednesday, December 14th, current events. I promise you the world will be coming to an end by then. And so we'll do that Wednesday, December 14th. By that time, there should be a new government. Hi, Mara. There should be a new government in Israel, and I hope that's wrong. The most extraordinary thing happened this week when two of Israel's strongest, unquestioning supporters, Abe Foxman and, I'm forgetting the name of the lawyer, Risa, help. What's his name? Alan Dershowitz, both condemned the shape of the new Israeli government.
Wow.
That has never happened in history.
Wow.
In history, ever. So my kvetching last week was only a prelude to the big guns coming in, and they're kvetching seriously. I don't know what's going to happen. Tune in December 14th. We'll figure that out. Friday, December 16th, I'm going to be teaching the Friday noon class for Wilshire. And then Sunday evening, December 18th, first night of Hanukkah. Okay. Checking in. Anything going on in your lives besides the stuff that you are hiding from me? Anything else going on? Hi, Howard. Shabbat shalom. Okay.
We're not hiding, we're testing your pipeline to God.
I have enough trouble. Risa said, I know you're going to be teaching Chevra Torah today. For God's sake, don't teach about the ladder. All of a sudden, I have a critic behind the scene. She said, I've had enough ladder. There's something else in the Sedra. Find it. So, okay, you like that? Oh, yeah, he likes that a lot. And Howard, by the way, I really loved having your grandson, Michael, having him with us. That was a super big treat. Please send him the regards.
I have something to share about grandchildren.
Mhm.
I ordered some books for my
Thank you very much for that
grandchildren.
comment. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Howard. Excuse me.
Okay, Natalie? Did you, oh, okay, I saw your hand. Okay, we're gonna get started. Donna, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I ordered some for a book about Babala for my grandchildren, 3 books, and they get them Monday.
Yeah, by the way, everyone knows about PJ Library, right? PJ Library is maybe the most successful privately funded, philanthropically supported Jewish education program ever. And PJ Library has created a library for children, young adults, a whole set of books. They didn't publish them. They talk about them, they promote them, and sometimes they publish them. And if you're looking for gifts for grandchildren or whatever, and you want an access to a book list, PJ Library. And
Thank you.
it is great. That is great. Okay. Now, we're going to start with Genesis chapter 29, verse 1, immediately following the latter episode. Okay, so I hate criticism. I really do. So 29:1, and it's on page 196 in the Plout, 161 in the Women's Commentary. Okay. It just begins. Here we go. So Jacob, you got the story with Jacob, and my Thursday evening, Friday morning posting had all to do with not just the latter episode, but whether or not Jacob has any right to be called a hero. You know, whether Jacob exhibits anything that we would like to consider to be sterling qualities. You know, normally when we talk about, certainly when I talk about the patriarchs and the matriarchs, they are exemplars. We want people to be like them. Be like Abraham destroying the idols. That's not in the Bible, but fine. Be like Abraham, you know, be like Isaac, loving the wife, the thing. Be like Jacob, you know, father to 12 tribes.
But when we
I just had a lot of trouble finding reasons to raise up Jacob as a hero, and most especially, though I'm not permitted to talk about it, at the very end of the latter episode, when he enters into this negotiation with God, if you give me X, Y, and Z, then I'll be yours. I have heard positive twists on this, and I know that in the rabbinic literature says Jacob is really saying, I'm not going to be able to live up to all that God demands of me. Katonti, I am just way too small, so I'm not sure whether I can handle all this. To me, it doesn't cut it, Jacob. I came out of this semester of our study liking Esau a lot more and liking Jacob less. It took me 83 years to get to this position, and I'm not happy. I'm dizzy. So it's God knows what we'll come up with by next year. So here we are. Jacob,
Rabbi,
Steve.
Why is it that when we bless the children, we want daughters to be like the matriarchs, but we don't bless the sons to be like any of the patriarchs? It's Ephraim and Manasseh.
Yeah, I think the Ephraim and Manasseh, of course, is a direct jump off from when Jacob blesses the kids of Joseph and so forth. I can't really give you, I don't know, Tamara, do you know a starting point from when we started doing, may God bless you,
No, but I have been told by someone that one interpretation is the importance of having grandchildren who stay Jewish. And that's a definition of who is a Jew, someone whose grandchildren are Jewish. And Ephraim and Manasseh are grandchildren. And so they're continuing the tradition is what's important. That even though they were raised in Egypt and didn't grow up in quote Jewish home, they nevertheless are part of our people. So, but that's all a kind of a late drash, if you will.
It just says, I mean, if you can believe that Ephraim and Manasseh continue to be Jewish, having never tasted corned beef or lox, and yet they're still Jewish. Far be it from me to say that there's anything about a definition of Jewish that I find difficult. Please do not hear me agreeing that the definition of a Jew is someone who has Jewish grandchildren. I reject that only at a level of 100%. When people say that, and they say it in Israel, it's one of the things that's thrown at American Jews. You want to be Jew, have Jewish grandchildren, practicing, living Jewish grandchildren. And quite frankly, I will not put my identity into the hands of my grandchildren. No. Oh, yeah, except for Maya. Yes, I'd be comfortable doing that. But beyond that, Steve, no. So Ephraim and Manasseh repeating the blessing that Jacob gave, and the little story with Joseph's children and the matriarchs. That's about all we can offer. Okay. So Vayisa Yaakov Raglav, Vayelech Arza, V'nei Kedem. First of all, any biblical passage that mentions the name of the Zionist organization, which I once served as international president, I think is a good verse. So it says Arza, we like Arza. Setting that aside. Jacob Vayisa Yaakov Raglav. That's a funny way to say Jacob took off. Jacob went. He lifted up his feet. What does that mean? Vayisa Yaakov et Raglav. It's an idiom. So the rabbis get really into it. When the righteous are out pursuing a worthy goal, their feet don't touch the ground. Okay, that's the way the rabbis handled it. What they're really saying is, we don't know why this idiom was used here, but it's here and it's strange. Do you ever notice that when you are going to do something which you really don't want to do, but you are being forced by people or circumstances to do it, you drag your feet? So this is the opposite of drag your feet. Jacob lifted up his feet and went forward into the new challenges. The rabbis also tossed in the sermonic gem of having received God's protection, Jacob floats through life. Okay, fine. Donna?
I just wanted to ask a question about last night at Temple. Why would this happen? It's the second time it's happened. The same little girl last year, when I get ready to leave, I had a cape on and everything, like a Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Great show, Hanukkah show. This little girl runs up to me. I want to go home with you. And I'm like, I have my earbuds in. I listen. I mean, to turn. I said, excuse me. And I said, no, you go. Why would she do this? Is it angels? I want to rabbi about the angels. It's not me. It's got to be angels that are around me that she's attracted to. I don't know this kid.
Okay, so let's. Yes, it's
question.
And last night, Bo talked about angels, and we are capable of being angels. It was great. I mean, that was fine. But
thank you.
We're going to move on from there.
You help me.
So Jacob lifted up his feet and went toward the people of Kedem. People of Kedem. He went to the east. And do you know where he's going? He's going back home. and he's going back home to find a bride, in the center of moon worship in the ancient Middle East. That's an interesting thing. Somehow, the family of Abraham was able to retain its connections with God, however we understand that, connections with God, even though the place they lived was in fact the center of moon worship in the world. By the way, I have a Nietzsche quote, and I have to assure you that I quote Nietzsche almost never. And Nietzsche is not one of my favorite people. I tend not to love people who are associated with vile anti-Semitism. But whatever is divine moves on tender feet. That's a quote from Nietzsche. Have you ever moved on tender feet? Donna, have you? Donna, no, you haven't? Doing a mitzvah, doing something you really felt good about. I remember the years when we were able to package the turkeys Thanksgiving at Wilshire Boulevard downtown, Koreatown, and we did it as part of a Thanksgiving outreach. A whole crowd of people there packaging food and then taking it down to the depths of the poorest sections of Los Angeles. And somehow being there, yeah, it was like floating. Not bad. Okay. And of course, what is the most famous example of praying with your feet? Donna, okay.
Favorite rabbi.
Civil rights marches.
Who was it? Remember?
It was Heschel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I am praying with my feet. Such a fabulous statement. Okay, so there we go. Jacob is floating, is going to Arza, he's going east. Vayar, v'hine be'er basadeh v'nei sham shlosha tzon. He looked, Jacob moved down, he looked, and lo, a well in the field. You are well-trained biblical scholars. You are going to see a well. What does that mean? Come on.
Miriam. Miriam's nearby?
If there is no well in the Torah without love, it's going to happen. Okay. So, and he beheld a well in the field, and there were 3 flocks of sheep crouching there because they're going to bring up water to feed the sheep from there. And Vaha'evan Gedolah al Panei HaBe'er, and there was this huge boulder that blocks the well. Why was there a boulder on the well, folks? Why?
I don't know.
Jacob could be a hero.
Oh, that's artificial. I mean, that may be true, but yeah. Why was there a boulder on the well?
So it wouldn't evaporate.
To protect it from strangers taking it.
Yeah. I mean, you remember the story. There's stories about digging wells and the enemy filling the wells in. Wells, that's survival. And you put a huge boulder on a well so that a wandering person doesn't come and drain your water. You will be able to protect it and keep it in your property. Fine. But I want to point out something that is not going to be quite obvious. The rabbis looked, and lo, a well in the field with 3 flocks of sheep lying at rest near it. The rabbis say, aha, 3 edrei tzon, 3 flocks of sheep. Why does the Torah specify here 3 flocks of sheep. I'm actually going to tell you because I never would have come up with this. I had to go to the text. This is the first mention of the 3 pilgrimage festivals. You may find that a bit extreme in the jump, but the rabbi said, why would God, how did I equate God and rabbi? Why did God specify there were 3 flocks of sheep? It's to remind us that you have 3 pilgrimage festivals and you are supposed to go. And therefore, what is the well symbolic? Beit HaMikdash. So the rabbis say this well stands for the Beit HaMikdash, the temple, and the 3 flocks are the 3 pilgrimage festivals. And please, you don't have to buy that. Brad?
Rabbi, I also was puzzled by why the 3 flocks, and I just had this impression that this whole paragraph here is operating at some metaphoric level that I'm maybe not completely grasping. I mean, I think that's one interesting interpretation that you've given, but I think the whole passage is just open to, it opens us up to various interpretations. And maybe that the fact that that well is closed is that love is closed off. Love is closed off at this point, and it will be when the well is opened. That's an opportunity then for love to develop. I mean, I'm grasping, but I just have the sense that this passage should not be read literally, that it should be read metaphorically.
I want to hug you, but you're too far away. But thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for insisting on the possibility of metaphor. And boy, could a rabbi deliver a sermon on love that is stopped up and then rolling away the stone. Oh, God. Woo! That's a chapter in somebody's book. That's great. Ray Kasarin?
Thank you. Actually, I have more question than an observation, but it overlaps a little with Brad's sense of this as metaphor as well, or at least something extra textual. I am always hyper attuned, I think, to the rhetoric of who is narrating and where are they in consciousness and awareness in the text. And something that is poking me right now is in verse 2, as translated in Plaut, he looked and lo, a well in the field. And this cue to us, the reader, listener, when this was an oral text, presumably, to say, whoa, now pay attention. Here come these important sheep. Don't miss this detail. We care about this. So what are we to make? And this is a question, not an observation. What are we to make of what strikes me as the equivalent of like the applause sign in the auditorium, this lo in the middle of the text? Who is telling us what to feel here? Where is this coming from?
That's a great comment, and I respect it, and I find it, there you are. So vihine. So you get the sense, Ray, this is an oral tradition initially. This is passed down. This is a story. Wouldn't the story do it? And there Jacob took off and was on his way, and wow, all of a sudden he saw a well, right? That's what that vahine is. Wow. All of a sudden, Jacob saw a well. Tamara, please.
Thank you. That's both of you, the word hine, which is behold or lo, usually means we are now seeing what the character is seeing. It's the technical term is focalizer, like the camera focalizes on what the person is seeing. So it's a clue to the reader to be not who is telling the story, but who in the story is experiencing it. So Hine tells us this is what Jacob is seeing, and we're with Jacob witnessing this surprise of the well. So it's a very, very important word, and I'm so glad you highlighted.
Tamara, thank you so much. That's fascinating.
I'm kind of knocked back because I had not learned that. Vihine, therefore, is a statement of a feeling within the main character. Is that right? That the main character is feeling. He's walking through this scene and he's, what was the term you used?
Focalizer.
Focalizing.
Yeah, but it's not just the feeling. We are now the camera that's focusing through the eye of the person to whom Hine is attached. So it's attached to Yaakov. So now we are with Jacob, and we are meant to focus, to see the world through his eyes. That's how people read the word Hine, and it shows up in many, many places. And it always means the camera now zooms in on the perception of the protagonist in the text.
May I ask you a question?
Okay. What do we have?
About the well? About the well?
First of all, Eric, and then Donna. Eric?
Okay.
I see an image of Jesus' tomb, you know, the tomb of Jesus' tomb. There was a stone block, they pushed the stone back, and then Jesus pushed the stone from the inside and be resurrected. And and that's what I see, because I went to the Holy Sepulchre on my trip to Israel, and they told me that it was like a little well, so that, you know what I mean?
Yep, I know what you mean. You're saying that after the 3 days, they rolled back the stone and the place was empty. The tomb was empty. Yes.
Yeah, and it looked like a well. Thank you very much.
Lana?
I was always saying that that's when rock and roll began, when Gabriel rolled away the stone. But I was going to say about, romance at the well. All of Sarah and Abraham, everyone meets at the well, the water. And when we're in our mother's womb, we're in water, and it's life, and life is water, and we have to have water for life.
That's another interesting example of rolling away the stone and life emerges. Very interesting. I'm learning a lot today. Thank you for that. So and Jacob was there and then encountered this well with the 3 flocks there, and they were waiting. There was a great stone in front of it. Verse 3, when all the flocks were gathered, the shepherds would roll. So it took a whole bunch of them to roll the stone off the well's mouth, water the flock, then they put the stone back in place over the well's mouth. Okay, where are they? All the flocks gathered. Verse 4, Vayomer, and Jacob said, hey guys, where are you from? We are from Haran. That's the key word. We're from Haran. We are from the place where Abraham first emerged. If you remember back away, Terach settled in Haran with Abram. That's really all the way back. Terach settled with his son Abram in Haran, and therefore Haran is the launching place for Abraham and Sarah, and if you will, the launching place for the Jewish people. So he has gone back to the place of origin. Place of origin. Now, I don't know if I have a right to do this.
What?
Jacob said to them, do you know Laban, son of Nahor? Folks, this is an oral exam. Who was Laban? Oh, I see one hand. Okay, cool. I see one hand going once, twice, thrice, Donna. Oh, sorry. So Cindy, you came up. Okay.
It's Rebecca's brother. And it's also interesting that his name is Lavan, which is another word for the moon, Lavana.
Yes, totally.
So he's like a moon worshiper dude.
Yeah, he was he was named. I don't know if he was a moon worshiper dude, but
that's a technical term.
It's a technical term. It's kind of interesting because the issue for Jacob wasn't, I want to marry someone of my faith. He wants to marry into his family. And the odds are that these are not worshipers of the God Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are worshiping. Different, right? And so, Laban, I guess it's a dead giveaway. Oh, moon worshiper, right? Okay, and there you have the relationship. So Laban is the brother of Rebecca. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, right? So Laban is the brother of Rebecca. Therefore, I'm going to say this, I hope I don't die. Jacob's uncle. Is that right? Did I get that? Jacob's uncle. So Laban is Jacob's uncle. And the rabbis wanted to make things even tidier. Who were Bilhah and Zilpah? That's a question. No, I'm going to Cindy. Definitely going to Cindy.
Possibly half sisters of Rachel and Rebecca, but Laban gave them to to Leah and Rachel as handmaidens. And they also bore children. And those children were treated equally, unlike with Abraham.
There you go back to Ishmael again. He got all kinds of trouble. Okay. Now, Cindy, totally great. Excellent. What you have, just to get the relationships there, Jacob went back to his uncle's home, right?
But doesn't that make Rebecca his aunt?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a hard time with this unless I make a board in front of me. No. What did I miss? No.
Rebecca is his mother.
Rebecca is Jacob's mother and Laban's sister. Right. So she is the aunt of Rachel and Leah.
Oh, that's what I meant, that Rachel is his aunt.
No,
Thank you.
set a trap for me and I fell in it. But then I'm going to throw back at you Zilpah, okay, and Bilhah were the children of Laban.
Do we know that for a fact, or that's just
possible? No, we don't know that.
Midrash.
We're having a tough time here. I'm getting challenged right and left. No, we don't know that for a fact. Rabbinic extrapolation. So they want to keep everyone together in a nice, happy family. Okay. So Laban was the grandson of Nahor. And what goes on here? Jacob says to them, my friends, where are you from? We're from Haran. They said, oh, the moon city. So Jacob said to them, do you happen to know Laban, son of Nahor? Why is he asking? Why is he asking about Laban?
It's his family.
It's his family. He's going there. He wants inside trader information. What do you know about Laban? Tell me about Laban. Tell me about the kind of a guy he is. Tell me what kind of a family he is. Again, interesting. Don't tell me about his religion. That's not going to be important here. And we go on. Do you know Laban? And they said to him, yeah. Is he well? The Hebrew, and this is I don't know, I found it a weird Hebrew. And he said to them, Hashalom lo. That's how's he doing? That's a modern Israeli idiom. Shalom lo. How's he doing? How's his shalom? Shalom lo. How's he doing? And the answer in the text is shalom. I don't know. He's fine. Not to worry. Whatever. And then look here, Rachel's daughter's coming. And then look at this. Rachel's coming with the flock. And Jacob says, since the day is still young and not yet time for rounding up the livestock, why don't you water the flock? Jacob immediately criticizes the shepherds. He has a feeling they're taking an afternoon siesta for the rest of the day. And they're hanging around, they're waiting for Rebecca, and they're doing this and that. And Jacob acting as the administrator. If you want an example from Torah as to how an administrator runs an organization, Jacob says to them, hey, guys, by the way, I really appreciate the fact that you're taking a nap now, waiting for Rebecca to show up and all that. That's good stuff. But the day is you got a lot of day left. For God's sake, start watering the flock. That's actually what's going on here. So they say, oh, we're waiting for Rebecca. Jacob says, do me a favor, get back to work, even though he's a stranger in their midst. They said, we can't do that until all the flocks are rounded up, the shepherds and all the things. And then verse 9. While he was talking with them, Rachel arrived with her father's sheep. She was a shepherd. What's not said here? This is a pregnant phrase. What's not said?
That someone's looking for a bride.
Rachel is there. She's a shepherd. That's good. That's equality, equal pay, equal job. Fine. Somebody's missing. Who's missing?
Leah?
Leah.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Leah? Like, where's Waldo? Where's Leah? Okay. So we have Rachel comes down there with the flock. Everything is wonderful. But then the reader is asked, where is Leah? And so the rabbis answer. Do you want to try to guess what the rabbis answered, Steve?
Well, if you introduce Leah here now, when you find out Rachel has an older sister, it'll ruin the surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds like a Mona comment. Like, okay, you got to get the script flowing well. Okay, yes. Also, what they find is, how was Leah described later in the text?
Weak eyes.
Come on then, Cindy, give me the rest of the midrash or the teaching that the rabbis are giving.
Well, what I have from my notes from last year are that you said that God compensated for her weak eyes by giving her lots of children.
I'm not going to go into the thoughts that Anish that just kicked off.
Oh, and that she felt unloved by her husband.
Yeah. The rabbis on this point say, where was Leah? Laban kept her at home because she had weak eyes, and that meant she couldn't go out in the sun. She was hypersensitive to the sun and therefore kept her at home. That was one group of rabbis. So she was home protecting her eyesight. They had not yet developed polarized sunglasses. Okay, next, the other possibility. Leah was the firstborn. She wasn't married yet. The heck if Laban is going to send her out into the sun to dry out her skin before she meets the man who is going to marry her. So Leah is actually, I don't want to say she went to a local spa, but Leah was at a place where she was caring for her skin and her appearance because she is the older daughter, not yet married. And this was a source of anxiety for Laban. Okay, so that's where she was. When Jacob saw Rachel, daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, with Uncle Laban's flock, Jacob, Marvel Comics would love this moment. You see it? It takes all the shepherds to move the rock, right? What did Starker Jacob do?
He did it by himself.
He did it by himself. In other words,
What a man.
They exactly what a man. We can't do it. And they, the shepherds, plural, would roll the stone off the well. Jacob strides up there. I have to believe with one hand behind his back, pushing the stone like this, and the stone obediently rolled away. Okay, so a starke Yid, Jacob, is a model for all Jewish men. Okay. Those were not happy laughs.
Yes, they were.
Those were sardonic laughs. I caught
Rabbi, may I say something? I think there's a mensch in town that's got that muscle that loves me. I don't know who he is, but he's at the temple somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting moment. Verse 11. Now Jacob kissed Rachel.
He did that in modern times, he'd be in trouble.
I figured maybe she bit him. That's why he was crying. Jacob kissed Rachel. And then told Rachel he's a relative. His first approach was sexual harassment. His first approach toward Rachel was to kiss her. The rabbis didn't like this. It bothered them. Look at the Hebrew. Look at the Hebrew. Vayishak Yaakov le Rachel. The rabbis say that is a strange locution to say that he kissed her. So it meant he did not kiss her on the lips. He demurely kissed her on the cheek.
That's what I thought.
That occurred to me, not at all. But that's what they said. Tamara, please. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm just referring to his being able to move the stone. The way the sentences come, he sees her, and that's what empowered him, sort of, okay, I can do this, because he was smitten with her. It doesn't mean that he was, went to the gym and was strong, but it's being struck,
empowered
by the power of love.
The power of love. Risa, when I saw you, I could move mountains.
Right.
Okay, I thought it was like sending a kiss to her in order to have love. Yeah, I don't think he touched her.
Now we're getting into our own deep psychopathologies. And okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tamara?
Yes, well, the verb in both sentences, first, Vaishak et Hatzon, he gives water to the flock. Vaishak et Rachel could mean he gives water to Rachel. The same word is used in both verses, right?
Right.
Would you look
Vaishak let's see, Vaishak et Hatzon, Etzon Lavan, so he gave water to the flock of Laban, and then Vaishak Yaakov LaRachel. So then he gave her water, which would be
okay.
very
Raise your hands. You're going to have a forced choice. He kissed her demurely on the cheek. He gave her a glass of water. How many believe he kissed her? Okay, how many believe he gave her a glass of water?
I do.
I don't know.
What's the root of Ishak?
Well, it's there, Risa. Tamara is totally correct.
It's both to drink, to cause someone to drink, and also to kiss, but I think it means it can't be on the cheeks, because the kiss cannot be on the cheeks, because it has to do with sort of transmission of fluids, if you will, what the verb is. And so, I mean, you can use it less that way, but it means both.
I am having such a moment. You know,
that I never heard.
May I ask a general question?
Who's talking? Oh,
Sukasa. Yeah. When you talk about the root being this and that, are you talking about Eliezer ben Yehuda, who created the modern Hebrew dictionary? I mean, how do we know that that's what which root are we talking about? Are these from ancient times? Are they current times? And how do you know that this is what they were saying in ancient times?
Wait 1 second. So the Hasidic story, a Rebbe wanted to experience what life was like to be a regular laborer. So he switched places with the Balagala, with the wagon driver, and he was the wagon driver, and the wagon driver was sitting in the back as if he were the Rebbe, right? And the crowd comes up to ask the Rebbe, the wagon driver, a serious question. The wagon driver Rebbe says, you know, that's such a simple question. Even my wagon driver could answer it. Okay. And now I am saying, Tamara, how do you answer that question? You are the Rebbe. So how do you answer the question?
Rabbi, but this one I can answer. No, the roots are the ancient roots, and we know a great deal about the language, not only Hebrew, but languages that are much older. But Semitic languages are built on either 2 or 3 letters that take shape in different ways to give you different meanings. And it's fairly consistent. So when you study biblical text or Akkadian text or Sumerian text, you see the same pattern. So it's based on ancient linguistic formations of words that is quite evident to people who have done this work. So it's not a modern, and very often there are relationships built into those 3 letters that it can mean one thing in one context and another thing in a different context, but it's the same root, same 3 letters.
And therefore watering or bringing water to water a flock and to kiss share basic root.
Yeah.
And so therefore, believe me, Sukasa, the rabbis love those because they take it and build elaborate structures upon it. I'm going to go to Ray. We're running out of time. I've learned a lot today. Ray, please.
No, I don't want to run out of time.
Thank you. When we mentioned briefly down on verse 17, that touched on actually a new discovery that I feel like I'm working on this morning. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful of form and of face, etc. I'll briefly, of course, hit the disclaimer that the bigger problem and the bigger story here, of course, is that this whole blessed parsha is about the male gaze and objectifying these women. Discussion for another time, but we can't not say it. But the smaller detail that's new to me this morning and that fascinates me is I feel like there is a sort of strange justice being spoken of in a couple places in the story when we're introducing Leah as her eyes being weak. And then when we get to Laban's swindle later on in verse 24, 25, or 23 to 25, he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob. And then in the morning, look, it was Leah. How can there not be something about weak eyes sort of linking those two pieces of the narrative? I mean, what kind of bonehead or blind guy in one sense or another would Jacob have to be to not know what woman he is going to bed with? It seems an extraordinary thing that taxes credibility in any sense that we have it. And I feel like, okay, you don't like the one with weak eyes, look at your own weak eyes or something. I don't know what's going on there, but weak eyes really seems an important link between these two pieces of the text.
I'm having a good morning. I think that's great. And my last piece of wisdom, look at Isaac, or everyone, look at Isaac's weak eyes as well. Yes. And blessing the brothers, and which one does he bless? Blindness expressed physically is often a different kind of blindness, because sometimes blindness is willful. And there's that concern. I just want to throw this in because I loved it. Why did Jacob cry? I said that maybe she bit him, but I don't think maybe that happened. The rabbis come up with an answer. You'll find that very satisfying. Jacob looked deeply at Rachel, and through the power of prophecy, discovered that she would not be buried next to him at Machpelah, in the burial place of the patriarchs and matriarchs, and that ultimately their graves would be separate. So even as he looked at her for the first time, his heart was broken as to how things would end.
You want to ask how many believe that one?
I don't believe, I believe that he was so struck by the fact that that was his bride, that God had chosen for him. They wept with joy. That's what I think.
I love when there are empty spaces.
You haven't done this yet.
How the rabbis fill in and deliver their messages. Sometimes the physically blind, let me get the rest of this. Sometimes the physically blind can see more clearly. I am thinking, for example, about Maya's cat, who is now a star. Okay. What a beautiful morning. Larry, you got to say something to me. I haven't heard your voice. Thank you. Okay. That's good. We're going to go to Kaddish now. Thank you all. And Lynn, I'm really happy you're feeling better, and from strength to strength, okay? Okay, and folks, please be in touch with Jim as well, and send him get well notes, and you know, let's get the community functioning. We mentioned those who have passed away during the past month: Rebecca Brode, Norma Bubar, Judy Eder, Paul Fisher, Linda Gash, Latifa Gadushi, Howard Goldfeder, Robert Katsky, Susan Pekel, Irene Saltzman, Carolyn Scher, Daisy Schott, Moshe Jeffrey Shopson, Norman Siegel, Jacqueline Weinberg. And the following, the anniversaries of whose deaths have occurred during this past week: Lawrence Edelman, Martin August, Morris Barkin, Ezatolo Bassary, Sarah Baum, Beth Benson, Philip Berman, Milton Blaine, Samuel Blatais, Janice Block, Sam Breitbart, Elke Brenzel, Nat Bubar, Ray Bubar, Harvey Kammer, Frank Kaplan, Lil Cohen, Molly Brock Cohn, Max Coleman, Muriel Corwin, Ben Dan, Bessie DeFalco, Abram Diamond, Lillian Dishler, Ruben Dom, Rachel Eliakar.
2 Sundays. I have time to finish wrapping the gifts before our company comes.
And
My
Feinberg.
dining room looks like a warehouse. I took care of 2 gifts today. I only need 2 gift cards and then I'm done.
Yeah, shut off
Everything
your
with the
microphone.
gifts,
Somebody shut
all
off.
done with the gifts. Like in the gift,
Please mute.
I got the final gift was 2 gift cards, 1 for each of them.
Just please.
You know, I'm talking about Dakota Miles. Oh, I got them all Barnes and Noble gift cards.
Hello, we're having Kaddish. Turn off your mic.
All of their families like reading. I discussed it with Sari. I said, I don't know what to get.
Can somebody turn off Merle, please? It's Merle.
Would everyone,
Okay, there we go.
everyone please mute. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Henry Epstein, Marge Farber, Ann Feinberg, Nathan Fleischer, Rothmel Fogel, Roger Weiss Fox, Evelyn Freeman, Natalie Friedman, Ellie Gamliel, Lee Gelfond, Joseph Charles Goldman, Sue Gottfried, Ruth Green, Esther Myers Green, Harold Hecht, Bertha Heitner, Sherry Hershoff, Donald Hester, Larry Hill, Victor Israel, Golda Katz, Ann Ketover, Bernard Kislin, Ken Klenner, Lester Korn, Harry Cunin, Beulah Lazier, Sylvia Leff, Mark Levine, Shirley Levine Fisher, Herman Lewin, Erna Lovis, Marion Marblestone, Bob McDermott, Florence Melvin, Leo Morgan, Peter Myerson, Helen Sherry Nishizawa, Maurice Oakham, Frederick Pashkow, Samuel Pike, Aaron Pollock, Theodore Michael Pritikin, Maury Redman, Walter Reichwald, Rose Rogers, Harry Rose, Lillian Saffer, Richard Sanders, Mark Sandrich Jr., Simeon Shapaznikov, Jenny Sauer, Herman Schmidt, Rose Schneider, Tamara Schroeder, Paula Schulman, Albert Schwartz, Dorothy Seiler, Yakutiel Tzvi Shalpin, Lillian Shane, Rose Scherer, Rose Schoen, Murray Simons, Joseph Sclaver, Seymour Smith, Sylvia Spiller, David Warren Sugarman, Leon Wallace, Eleanor Weingart, Ann Weinstein, Bruce Winokur, Lane Wesley, Edwin Walworth, Werner Wolfen, Frank LeBlons, Martin Young, Howard Zolan, Jack Zeisman. We add as well the names of those who died in defense of the United States, who died in defense of the state of Israel, those who died through senseless acts of violence and terror, those for whom there is no one to say Kaddish. If you have additional names, please mention them aloud now.
It's Moshe Jeffries Shopson, not Jeffries, but thank you, Rabbi. My husband, 31 years ago.
And bearing in mind the names of all our departed. Yitkadal, V'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalmad, Yibrad, Yimtei, Yamlich Moshe, V'chaye Chon of Yomecho, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala B'zman Kori. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Tvorach. Le'olam le'omei Amaya. Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vishtar, Vitromam, Vitnaseh.
This.
Sadar, Vitalev, Vitalal. Shmei Kudisha. Leila min kol bir chata b'shirata. Tush b'chata b'nechamata. Damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom. Rabav. Uyaseh
Shalom.
aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
Amen.
Amen.
God who makes peace in the high places, make peace in our hearts, make peace in our homes, make peace in the household of Israel, make peace among all the nations and peoples of earth. And let us say,
Amen.
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 Have a beautiful, healthy week, my friends. Can't wait to be back together with you next week. Love you. Thank you. Have a
Oh, precious.
Happy weekend, Rabbi.
Happy Hanukkah.
Susie,
Shalom.
Susie,
Shabbat
turn on your
shalom.
microphone, Susie.
Oh, what?
Susie, turn on your mic.
I didn't hear Merle today at all. Okay.
Dreidel,
Susie,
dreidel,
turn
dreidel,
on
I
your
made
mic.
it out of clay. When it's dry and ready, dreidel, I will play.